Hi, this is Sean, and today we're going to go over the Module Filter module for Drupal 7. Module Filter is a simple module that provides some handy enhancements to the module configuration page. So let's dive in and I'll show you what I'm talking about. If we go to our demo site and we navigate to the modules page, by default this is what your modules configuration page will look like. It's a long list of all the modules installed. And on this site we only have a few contributed modules installed, and as you can see with just a few basic modules the list is very long and you have to scroll through a long list to find the modules or the group of modules that you want to enable or disable. So what the module filter does is provide some enhancements to make managing your modules a lot simpler. So let's go ahead and install it and enable it. We'll navigate over to the Drupal.org website, and the module filter's project name is module_filter. So we'll use the Drupal installer to install this module. So we'll navigate down to the 7 branch, right click on the tarball to copy it to our clipboard. Let's go back to our website and click install module. We'll paste that URL in and click install. Alright, so now we'll go to enable newly added modules in our module list, and we'll find the module filter module. And as you can see, this is a good demonstration how we have to scroll through, and it makes finding modules pretty difficult. In fact, I missed it. Let's see here. This is actually a good demonstration. There it is. So it's under the administration section. So we'll go ahead and enable that and scroll all the way down to save configuration. We'll save that, and right off the bat, as soon as we enable that module, you can see some of the nice features that this provides. The module sections are collapsed into tabs, and that's one of the biggest benefits. We have now the administration tab where you saw the module filter was located is in this section, Chaos Tool Suite, etc. And we can just click through each section to provide to see only the group of modules that are in that section. So as you can see right off the bat, that alone is just a much better user interface. And then we have 3 new sections that the module filter module provides. All, which basically shows a list of all the modules, somewhat similar to how it appeared before we installed this module. Recent and new. And then if you notice on top of the list here we have this filter list, and this is what I really love. If we put the focus in there, it'll live search as you type, so we can type in module, and without even having to click enter, there's the module filter, Chaos, and you'll see a list of all the module names that have Chaos in the name. So this is a huge time saver, this filter list alone. And then we have some further modifiers. We can filter the list to show only enabled modules, or only disabled, or only modules that are required. And we can also choose to filter out unavailable modules. So if we wanted to only see disabled modules, we would just simply place a check there, and now we have a list of all of the disabled modules. Or if we just want to see disabled administration modules, we click on that tab. So that's some huge time savers in and of itself. And then if we go to navigate to configuration and user interface and module filter, we have some additional settings, and these are the default settings. Set focus to filter on page load, which simply means when you bring up the module configuration page, if you notice the cursor is already in the filter list, so you can just start typing right away without having to place the focus there. So that's on by default, and that's nice. enhance the module page with tabs. So this setting basically turns off the tabs. So we'll go ahead and show you that real quick. We'll disable that, save, and refresh, and now those tabs are gone. So if for some reason you don't like those tabs, you can always turn them off. Inside the subsection, these all relate only if you have the tabs turned on, which we assume you would. So let's go over these. The number of enabled modules. If you notice, when you click on a tab, it'll show you how many are enabled. So out of core, the modules that come with Drupal, 21 out of 44 are enabled. So that's a handy little feature to have. Visual aids, when enabling or disabling modules, the module name will display in the tabs summary. So what that means, if that's enabled, which it is by default, when you turn off or on enable or disable a module, if you notice, it'll tell you what's pending, what actions are pending. So we have color. You see when I click that off or on, it shows that adding or enabling the blog, book, and color module are pending. Because remember, these are just visual aids here with the nice switches. It doesn't actually turn the modules on or off until you click Save Configuration. So with that visual aids turned on, that just gives you a visual reminder of what's pending. Hide tabs with no results. Honestly, not sure when that will come into effect, but if you happen to have a tab with no modules in it, you can choose that, enable that to hide them. Dynamically position the save button, and that's very nice. What that does is puts the save button underneath the tabs, so it's more likely to be visible and available to you. As you see, as we scroll through this long list, the save configuration button is still visible, so that's handy. Nice feature to have. Use URL fragment, which is another default, and basically that just means that it's going to use this URL fragment that you see highlighted in the URL up here, so that if we click, say, development and then go to core, now if I click the back button, it's going to go back to development. So you can use the back and forward buttons because it uses the fragment URL for that. So that's all that means. It's on the default. It's default turned on, so I would leave it that way. Use switch instead of checkbox, and this is just a nice visual enhancement for these checkboxes. Took me a little bit to get used to it when they first implemented this feature, but after a few days it's just become the norm to me. And basically it's the same as a checkbox, except it just visually looks different. So we'll show you. We'll turn that back off and save it, and basically that just makes it look like the regular checkboxes as it was before the module filter module is installed. So if you prefer checkboxes, you can always turn those back on by disabling them, the switches in the checkbox. Track recently enabled or disabled modules, and that just basically adds modules to the recent tab that have been enabled or disabled within the last week, which could be handy if you want to have some kind of history to see what changes were made by enabling or disabling modules within the last week. Again, that's a default, so leave that on. Remember, active tab just means when you come back, if you were on the Chaos Tool Suite, when you come back to the module configuration page, you'll still be there. And the last option on the module filter module is this remember the last selected filter, and I'm not sure how that works in all honesty. I thought that it would remember the checkboxes you had here for the filters, but it does not seem to work. So not sure what that does, probably not that important, so we'll ignore that for now. So I hope this was helpful. Again, this is a very simple module, and it's very, very handy, one of the very first modules that I always install on any Drupal project.